Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tuesday, which of course means Let's Talk Tuesdays. My name is BrendenPlayz. A bit of a slow week in the world of wrestling right now, and there's not a lot to talk about, but we still have some questions that you guys have asked me over the past couple of days, so we will get into that in today's video. But of course, last week I proposed that I was going to play some different games for the series, show off a few different games, give you guys a bit of an idea of some of the other things I like to play, and that's exactly what I'm doing today. Today you're going to be seeing Infamous First Light. It just came out, I think, a week ago. I've already finished it. I loved it. Highly recommend it. Very cheap game. It's like a add-on, a standalone DLC for Infamous Second Son. So if you already played Infamous Second Son, you will like this game a lot. And if you haven't played Infamous at all and you have a PS4, what the hell is wrong with you? Get this game. It's cheap. It's fun. It's short, but in my opinion, it's certainly worth the price. So what I really want to kind of do with this series is not only bring you guys some good wrestling in-depth discussion, but show you some different games and give you a bit of a chance to look at some different games, and you may see some games that you've never seen before, and you may see them and go, hey, I might get that. That's something that we could do here, and I may show you guys some cool games that I've been playing and what I've been up to in my gaming life, I guess. So, without further ado, let's get into today's questions. The first question comes from Monda Jr. Should WWE have Cesaro beat Sheamus at Night of Champions? Well, in my honest opinion, and I'm a little biased because Cesaro is one of my favorites, I think so. Honestly, Cesaro right now, I have no idea what they're doing with him. The booking with Cesaro has been really crazy. One week, he's on top. One week, they're pushing him as the next big thing. The next week, he's losing every single... There was, a period of, 2 months where Cesaro just lost to everybody. And, that included the likes of being eliminated by Heath Slater in a Battle Royal and losing countless times to Kofi Kingston and losing to RVD, and I don't know what the hell they honestly do with Cesaro. But now, it seems as though they're giving him a bit of a push, maybe towards the US title, but I honestly don't see Cesaro beating Sheamus because Sheamus is a protected entity, man. He may not be in the title picture as, like, the world title picture, but he's going to dominate that US title for a long time. As much as I would love to see Cesaro be US champion again, I can't see it. I don't know what they're doing with Cesaro, and honestly, I think Cesaro is still trying to find his identity. And, it's tough, but I think Cesaro probably won't be in, WWE's future plans for a while. I don't know. One point Cesaro was massively over. The swing was going huge. People going crazy for him. But as soon as he got paired with Heyman, it went downhill from there. And it was pretty evident that Heyman was not really doing it with Cesaro. Cesaro was never going to work with Heyman. And I think Cesaro should have just turned babyface and went his own way after WrestleMania. And he would have been fine, in my opinion. But keeping him heel, putting him with Heyman was just trying to force magic, and it just did not work. And Heyman just works well with Lesnar, and that's about it. And the whole time Heyman was with Cesaro, he was just promoting Brock Lesnar anyway, so Heyman was not even trying to get his client over. So that didn't work, and then Cesaro just has not recovered since. And of course, booking him to lose against some lower mid-card guys is not going to work at all. So if WWE is scratching their heads as to why Cesaro is not over, they've only got themselves to blame, really. He was getting over, the swing was getting over huge, he was just about to take off. We all thought after WrestleMania, here we go, this guy's going to be world champion one day in the next, year or so. And now it seems as though Cesaro, you have to wonder, is he even going to be in the company in a year or so? Because at this stage, he's struggling, and it's really from the back of WWE, and not so much his fault. He's killing it in the ring every week, but his character is just kind of, where's this going, and his booking's just been all over the place. So Cesaro beating Sheamus at Night of Champions, don't expect it. I think Sheamus will bro kick Cesaro and pin him 1, 2, 3. This next question comes from Bailey14. He says, are you as confused as me with the whole Reigns thing and Bray Wyatt? Like, is Reigns going to feud with Orton or Rollins? And since Bray Wyatt is facing Jericho next week, what's next for Bray? Well, I am really confused because it's one second they are having Roman Reigns going against Rollins and Kane, and then the other second it's Randy Orton and Reigns. So I really don't know. Are we heading towards a tag team match of some sorts? I honestly believe so. In my opinion, I think we're going to see Reigns and Ambrose team up to face Rollins and Kane. And then we saw Jericho and Randy Orton get into it as well. So maybe we'll see a Jericho-Orton match. I don't know. But I think that would be a good match. Jericho and Orton, you know, they have a lot of history between each other. And obviously a lot of people will be like, I don't want to see that. We've seen it so many times. But you think about it, Randy Orton beating Chris Jericho would be a good stepping stone for Randy Orton to move back into the title picture, which I think is where Randy Orton is headed. Obviously, they need someone to step up and face Brock Lesnar, and we've discussed this many times before, and I think Randy Orton is that guy. So I think Randy Orton getting a big victory would certainly help him. Seems as though Batista's not coming back, so it's even more prominent now to push Randy Orton into that spot. So I think that's going to happen. As for Bray Wyatt, what can you say? Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, it's a similar situation to Cesaro. You know, Bray Wyatt was over, and then he met John Cena. And I think John Cena did a lot for Bray Wyatt, but him winning the feud overall and the way he beat him really kind of hurt Bray Wyatt a lot. Then Bray Wyatt started to regain some momentum with Chris Jericho. And then Cena just absolutely fucking destroying them on Monday Night Raw. It pretty much killed the Wyatt family. And not only that, the Big Show and Mark Henry, how many times have we seen those guys face Luke Harper and Eric Rowan in the past few weeks? I think like 5 times in like 2 or 3 weeks. And every single time they're beating them. Why? I have no idea. Why the hell are they pushing these guys over the Wyatt family? I don't know. I like the team. Don't get me wrong. I like Big Show and Henry as a team. But there's plenty of other guys that they could be beating up every week rather than the Wyatts, who should be one of the strong teams. And the Wyatts actually not winning the tag titles is still a mystery to me. And now the whole Wyatt family as a whole, I don't know, man. It looks pretty bad for them. I mean, Jericho was getting Bray Wyatt back on top, looking as though Wyatt could get himself back in the main event picture. Now I see Bray Wyatt. I could see him becoming a comedy jobber, very soon. It's crazy. And it's not all down to WWE's booking. Yes, in some ways it is, but it's also down to Bray Wyatt and the fact that his character has been more of the same in recent months. His Jericho feud just never really got going. It stayed in second gear, never really kind of, elevated into something huge. And the matches they had were just good. They were nothing special, not very memorable at all. So that was the kind of problem that I had with the Jericho and Wyatt situation. Bray Wyatt just doing more of the same, just needed to kind of elevate and add something different into his character to kind of evolve and make him more interesting and, not as stale, because, Bray Wyatt, him getting stale is not going to work, because he's not a full-fledged established main event guy, and him, losing every couple of weeks, losing constantly will certainly to push him and devalue him very, very quickly compared to, Cena has been, the same thing over and over, but Cena's the top guy, established, will never really be pushed down the card, so it's a big difference there. So Bray Wyatt, can he be saved? Yeah, I think he can, but they've really got to do something with him, and him losing to Cena and then the other members of the Wyatts being just nothing but a joke right now, it's not the way to go about it. So it seems as though, in my opinion, WWE have lost faith in the Wyatt family, and the Wyatts could be on the way out, or certainly continuing to be on the way down on the card. So Bray Wyatt, I don't expect him to be involved in anything major in the coming weeks. But him having a steel cage match with Jericho, I think that'll be fun, that'll be exciting. And honestly, I see Chris Jericho winning that match. I see Jericho winning that match, going on to have a match with Randy Orton at Night of Champions. Randy Orton beating Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho just going away and doing his Fozzy thing. So it gives Randy Orton a big victory, and Bray Wyatt, honestly, he's not in their plans at the moment. It's pretty obvious. So I don't know, man. It's crazy, but that just seems to be the way they're going. I don't know why they're not really going ahead and pushing these big, talents that were going to be the next big thing in the WWE. I don't know what they're doing with them right now. I wish I had an answer for you. This next question comes from Ryan the Broski. 2 questions. Who do you think will be champion after Lesnar? And who do you think will win the world title first, Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns? Well, I can answer both of your questions with one answer. Roman Reigns will beat Lesnar, in my opinion, at WrestleMania 31. I think they're still going to go with that. And obviously, I think Roman Reigns will be champion before Seth Rollins, because I cannot see Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank anytime soon, not before WrestleMania at all, unless, you know, they change plans drastically. This next question comes from Crumbled Cookie 5. If NXT Season 5 continued, who would have won? And did you enjoy NXT better when it was a competition? Well, honestly, I don't even know who was in NXT 5. And honestly, I think the NXT competition thing was an absolute joke. It was shocking. It was horrible. I was not a full-fledged WWE viewer when NXT started to get going, but I remember tuning in here and there when I tried to get back into WWE a little bit, or just kind of watched it because it was on TV. And I remember seeing NXT, I think it was the first season, might have been the second season, and I saw this and went, my god, this is horrible. And it honestly just turned me off from even trying to get into the WWE again. So naturally, when I came back to the WWE and started watching, NXT was still around, I believe, in 2012. And I remember trying to tune in a few times, and the show was just a joke. And I remember anybody that came out of NXT, I just treated as a joke. I could not take seriously. So them removing NXT as this competition thing was the best thing for NXT. Honestly, I think NXT was just on the way out. Them changing it to the developmental was a fantastic idea. It's worked wonders. It's been, you know, major success. And, you know, honestly, NXT before that was just an absolute joke. It was just stupid. It was just bad comedy. Some people kind of shined a little bit. I thought like Titus O'Neil and people like that were good, but you know, for the most part, it was just dreadful. I couldn't watch it, and I don't watch NXT now, but you know, that's just because seeing developmental guys doesn't really interest me. I probably will check it out when Steen and Devitt and Kenta get going, but until then, you know, I'm just going to do that to see what all the hype is about and see how they're going. But until then, I'll just rather watch them when they come to the main roster. So, NXT changing, great move in my opinion. This next one comes from Cass Cop Gameplay. Do you think Kurt Angle will return for one more run? And if yes, do you think he can feud with Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns after WrestleMania? I think, honestly, I would love to see Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan. And just because it works, it fits, Kurt Angle versus Rusev. Those are two matches I would love to see, and I think Kurt Angle will return. It's just a given. TNA is ready to fold, honestly. It's on its way out. It's time. So those guys that you'll see in TNA that have some kind of WWE value, like Jeff Hardy, the Dudley Boys, I expected to see them all back in WWE for a short stint. I think Jeff Hardy will be back as a long-term figure. Kurt Angle, I think, will have one more big run. And not a title run or anything like that, just a run to put over some of the guys and work back in the WWE and probably set himself back up for a Hall of Fame kind of induction. Dynamite Jordan 07, could you see John Cena winning at Night of Champions and then Seth Rollins cashes in? Well, I don't think Seth Rollins is going to cash in for a while. I think Seth Rollins may tease it, and honestly, I can see Seth Rollins cashing in but losing to Brock Lesnar. I can honestly see that happening. Cena's not going to win in my opinion. Well, at least I hope not. And I hope they continue to keep Brock Lesnar the dominant, unbeatable champion that he is, and play out the story until WrestleMania. Then you have the young, up-and-coming, big babyface Roman Reigns beats Lesnar. Perfect story, perfect way to put Reigns over. Yes, it's predictable, but we've got a long way to go until then. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get there. And I think it's best for business. I think Roman Reigns is the future of the company. Is he the face of the company? Perhaps, but when he beats Lesnar, he's not going to be the face of this company. He's just going to be the WWE champion. John Cena is still going to be the spearhead of the company, but you still got, you know, obviously you're still going to have Cena, but you've got a new guy in Roman Reigns taking one of those top spots and solidifying himself as a future potential big star. So I think that's what's best for business. So Cena winning, Rollins cash in, would not expect it. It would shock me. I don't see it happening. I really don't want it to happen. I'll try not to butcher this. Tomaz Gallic, who do you think will be the next tag team champ? Well, I think they are heading in the direction of having Stardust and Goldust beat the Usos. I think the Usos' title run has gone stale. It's time for them to drop the belts. Honestly, like I said earlier, I think the Wyatts should have been tag champions, but whatever. They don't want to push the Wyatts. So I think Goldust and Stardust is the next good option, in my opinion. You know, I'm not a big fan of Stardust and Goldust, but they are growing on me, and now the heel turn has renewed their interest in the team for me. And I'm looking forward to seeing those two teams have a match at Night of Champions. I think they could put on a pretty good match. And I think it'll kind of work towards a Goldust versus Stardust split down, you know, months down the line, and even perhaps a WrestleMania match finally between the two. That would be great to see. Would love to see that one, and kind of give Goldust a big send-off that he deserves. So, in my opinion, the Usos will lose the titles very, very soon. I would have loved to seen Ryback get the tag run, but it looks as though Ryback is injured, which I'm devastated about. I miss the big guy. He's great. I honestly believe the big guy should have had a tag run with his with the little guy, with the Axeman, but it didn't happen. But so just kind of by default, there's really no other tag teams to even consider now. So it really is down to Stardust and Goldust, and then I guess you could have Big Show and Henry team back up to face them in the future. I don't know. There's just no tag teams right now. It's just incredible, you know, that we went from 2 years ago having so many great tag teams. You know, the future of the tag team division was so bright. Now it's just looking dead. It's terrible. We barely even get a tag team match on the card anymore. It's just embarrassing. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it from me in today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. Join in the conversation by using the hashtag BPZ, and make sure you leave your questions for next week's edition in the comments section down below, or over at the forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums. The link to that will be in the description down below. Please join the forums, get in the discussion, and talk about wrestling, talk about everything to do with BrendenPlayz over there. Would love to see you guys on the forums with me. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Continue the discussion about this video and everything to do with BrendenPlayz by using the hashtag BPZ.